Welcome back to Northern Ireland. Now, if what we've shown you to date look pretty terrific, hang on, because what's coming up is quite spectacular. For an example, we're taking you off to the Lake District of Northern Ireland, County Fermanagh. And the fishing, well, it's terrific, isn't it, Trev?
We won't talk about it, but I tell you what, it is stunning, just like all of Northern Ireland, including this garden here. It is part of a walled garden in a castle, and we're going to feature it a bit later on. Right now, however, we're going to take you on a drive up the Antrim coast through some of the most spectacular scenery you've ever seen. First stop on our journey along the Antrim coast is Carrickfergus Castle, a Norman fortification dating back to the 12th century, and it sits at the mouth of the Loch of Belfast.
The charming Victorian-era seaside town of Whitehead is just outside the heads of Belfast Loch. Whitehead is a recent winner of the Britain in Bloom competition that seeks to bring flowers into public places in towns across the country.
The road along the Antrim coast was constructed after authorities finally put down revolts in the Antrim Glens. Today, this is one of the longest coast roads in Europe and makes a splendid drive.
The original ancestral home of the MacDonald clan was Dunluce Castle on the north coast of Antrim. When the rear of the castle, including the kitchen, collapsed into the sea with a considerable loss of life, the castle was abandoned. A new one was built here in Glenarm, and this is its walled garden.
The original purpose for walled gardens was to provide security for the crops that were grown within. Now, people in the 1820s had been through a few famines already, and they were desperate for fresh food, so this guaranteed they couldn't get over and in.
A wide variety of food was produced inside the walls, mainly in the top, well-drained part of the garden. Vegetables were grown to harvest through every season, as well as herbs, fruit and mushrooms. The walls create a sort of a microclimate for these espaliered fruit trees. And the way it works is, facing southeast, they pick up all of the afternoon sun. And that means that the wall gets warmed up, and that warmth is transmitted to these stems that are growing right along the side. And it means that you get crops earlier than you otherwise would. And look at these apples. They are so beautiful, I can hardly restrain myself from picking the lot.
Much of the garden was built 300 years ago. Most of it's been renovated in that period of time, except for this Irish yew hedge. It's 300 years old. And like all hedges, you can get patches where they start to die out. But the gardeners here have gone through a renovation process. Cut it back hard, and you can see all the new growth coming back. It'll be here for another 300 years. The circular yew hedge surrounds a working herb garden, providing spice and flavour to the cafe here, and a highly fragrant sensory experience for the visitor.
Originally constructed to cultivate mushrooms, the glasshouse has subsequently been used to grow cold-sensitive peaches, grapes and tomatoes, way outside their climate comfort zone.
Cottage perennial plants are everywhere and provide the most brilliant splashes of colour, particularly in the lower garden, which remains more humid and has higher soil moisture content. Plants such as salvias, sedums, rudbeckia and fuchsia are everywhere.
The essence of this beautiful formal garden are the meticulously created curved hedges, and the best place to see them, from an elevated position in the garden called the Mount.
I think you'd agree, the Glenarm Castle walled garden is absolutely beautiful. But it just gets better after the break as we take you further up the Antrim Coast Road.
Northern Ireland offers one of the most friendly tourism experiences in the world. Find out more by visiting discoverireland.com.au. Aer Lingus can fly you to Belfast or Dublin via San Francisco or Hong Kong. If you're already planning to visit London, you can fly Aer Lingus to Dublin for just £25. But be quick, this offer is valid from the 1st of April to the 24th of September 2009.
Getting to the Oyster Festival in Galway might not be as easy as it seems.
Beautiful day.
Whereabouts do you live?
Down at the end of the lake there.
Which way to Galway?
We go past the hotel.
By the gable of a long, abandoned cottage, a crippled tree whose apples grew on a branch in Eden.
But if you don't make it, there's always tomorrow.